Buenos dias. Good morning. I'm the Data Lord. This is Decentralized TV. Thank you for joining us on Friday, February 17th. And I'm joined by none other than El Jaime. Buenos dias, Jaime.
Buenos dias, señores.
¿Cómo estás?
Very well, my friend. Very well. Is it fucking Friday or is it Conspiracy Friday? Or is it both?
Tu madre es muy simpático. See?
Good, but leave my mother out of this.
So what I'm cracking up about is that we just have the most dramatic. We have so much just drama today, and
Yeah.
what's funny is all the drama's dumping right as soon as Bitcoin's at like key levels, almost like it's like intentionally like pulling people's eyes back on crypto. So
it really
I
is.
don't know if that's intentional or not, but
it's like the whole system's rigged. Yeah.
By the way, I'm not cheating. This is crypto and coffee, and I'm drinking coffee, but I'm also kind of sick, so I'm drinking Emergency. You know that orange vitamin C drink, so a little bit of that. So I'm not cheating on crypto and coffee. Here, I'll even christen the show, crypto and coffee.
There you go.
We drink about coffee and talk about crypto.
That is the closest thing I got. Cheers.
Muy bien. Yeah, I drink pens. Too good. So, real quick, I wanted to just look at market update because we had kind of a spicy day yesterday.
Yes.
Let me.
And I can definitely
be rude,
deep dive into it.
But I'm gonna whip it out. Wapa! There we go.
There it is.
Yeah. So we have Bitcoin. It was rocking pretty high. I'll have Jaime talk about that. I won't steal his thunder from down under. But it looks like the last 24 hours, things that were kind of up are thinking about coming back down. Wonder if that's intentional. But not Polygon. Polygon's playing for keeps right now. We're gloves are off with Polygon. It's up 6.2% in the last 24. So wow.
Oh man.
See that cough? That cough sucks. That sucks. Polkadot also is crushing it. So I think what this shows you is that people are still really bullish on platforms they can actually build things on. Go figure. Wow, really? You think crypto people actually care about things that could be used to develop solutions? What? That's crazy. Bitcoin Cash to the moon. That's a joke. So, these are the levels that I was looking at on Bitcoin.
Beautiful.
These are probably not too far off from what Jaime is about to show, but we have been bouncing off these bands. We've been bouncing right off these bands, and this like top wick we had right here. This is each candle's a day in this view, but that very top wick, we literally touched it and like came right back down. So like people are just playing on hopium. That's what that was, I think, and it got rejected hard quick.
There's a theory where it's institutions selling to the market. In other words, they're dumping into the retail investors, and those are signs. That's the sign that Gareth Soloway calls it a topping tail. It's traditionally called an overthrow, where it rallies past a certain resistant point and then drops back down. So a lot of people start FOMOing into it, and then it's snap back down. So
they're just trying to liquidate. Yep.
Yes.
Let me whip out.
They're taking advantage.
Your charts here. Whoopah.
There it is. So this is on the monthly level, and this is a really, really important level we're looking at, because this green line is the 50 monthly moving average on the monthly level. So it's trying to rise above and close above, but of course we still have 11 days before this settles itself. But you can see if it were to close above, it's a sign of higher movement upwards. If it closes below the 50, that green one, just below it, doesn't have to close all the way down, but just below it, it may be a sign of the resistance level is pretty strong. Now, if we zoom in closer, let me flip it over to this one. This is where we did the short, where we were. I hope everyone saw the shorts we were doing and took profits right as Bitcoin hit that 200 weekly moving average. And last week we confirmed the first death cross for Bitcoin in its history. So it's a sign that this area here, we have a weekly resistance. And look, the price went up right to that edge and then started pulling back. And then it rose again. So it was 2 times this week where it attempted to push above. And of course, we did shorts addressing this. You never long at resistance. You only long or go long buy to go upwards once it crosses it and tests this line as support. So if we zoom in one level closer, this is the weekly at the moment, but if we zoom in on the 3-day or even the daily, you'll see I'm going to move to the daily. See this rising channel? Ever since we rose from the bottom, it looks like testicles here. And now we're
It does.
working on the shaft.
That's Bitcoin's D's nuts. Yeah.
That's right.
Which
So
is not found in Africa.
So the
Nutritious.
important thing to pay attention to at this moment in time is the following. It is the fact that we were on a rising channel. Whenever we have a pump that's pretty strong, a bull flag, usually price action goes down or below. In this instance, it seems to be rising. We rose right back into the channel and hit that top of the channel like precisely. And now it's pulling back. If this candle closes tonight, underneath this channel, bottom channel line around 23,500, that's bearish. That's a sign of not enough strength to continue the trend upwards. And as the price, if I drew this bottom line, it's still rising. You see that the RSI is still lower. So this is a bearish divergence occurring. So the signs are we're running out of steam, but of course, we will let price action tell us in the end where we're going to end up. But this is a time where you would take profits off the table. And clearly on the chart you were showing, we saw institutions taking profits off and dumping it into the FOMO. And this is one of the main reasons and you see technical analysts not look at news. Why? Who looks at news? Who looks at Twitter? Who looks at
the plebeians?
Yes.
Casuals.
Yes.
Lay folk.
So don't be those guys. Really. I mean, you really, and it's not in terms of superiority. No, the media is there to guide the sheep, to misguide the plebs.
Yeah.
Before it used to be reporting, I feel there's an agenda behind everything that's ever announced. But technical charts, they don't give a fuck about what's outside. It's actually non-emotional. So if you look at what the charts are telling you, then you're paying attention and you react and lock in profits when you see a certain resistance or slowdown, or you start buying in when you start seeing a certain floor being built out. Yep. So that's the key of when you're looking at these charts, you react to what you see. And show me a chart, I'll tell you the news. Remember when right before FTX, yeah. I mean, right before FTX dropped, we were speaking of, which occurred right here. We're speaking of us rising into the 50 moving average, where we should see some resistance. Well, we never expected FTX implosion, but there it is. You see the actual drop occur when we hit that. So what are we looking at in the short term? Well, in the short term, if we're looking at moving averages, I just moved to the daily moving average. One first level of support we can see is around 21,600, which is close to the FTX breakdown. We tapped it once already and had this pump that we just saw. But this is that sign that you were looking at where the institutions dump onto the market, pushing this down. The next one, this is the more serious level of support where we should see some bounce, either a bounce to retest the 50 daily moving average as resistance. This lies at 19,700 is the next level I would be looking at for as a support or enough bounce. So that's where my focus is at the moment, and we'll see. Short this weekend should be telling. Always remember, trades on weekends or price action on weekends, it's usually retail. It's not institutions doing this. So we may see a pump up. Who knows? But just stay chill, stay calm, and hodl on for you guys that dollar cost average.
Yeah, I mean that's honestly pretty solid advice. Like, we've talked to a lot of these big bankers and institutional money, and a lot of them have no emotional capacity. Like they're wired differently, and so like when Jaime says like they they don't feel bad about bleeding out plebs who are reading the news, like that's for real. They don't. They literally do not care because they just see brass tacks. All they see is like, well, the chart says this level and this key indicator, and they make all their decisions completely based on just like textbook information. So really we're giving you a distillation of some pretty astute experience and information. So
and you said it's experience.
Yeah.
Yes. When I first got into trading back in the 90s, I was one of those, I got to look at the fundamentals. I mean, it matters in the macro, but it does not matter in the day trade or in the low time frames. Great news can come out and it takes a dump. Or look at the stock market when there's huge layoffs. You would think, oh shit, everything's going to hell. Nah, what does the stock market do? It rallies. So they're looking at it, like you said, from the brass tacks point of view. And that's where we have to be careful ourselves, is when we're doing this, is through experience. It's through losing your entire fortune or whatever money you have in there. And once you start losing it, then that's when you really start learning. And it's just based on experience. And we'd love to share it with our community to keep everyone safe.
Yeah, that's real talk. We freaking love you guys. That's why we do this Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and shorts whenever there's big news to talk about. So we're gonna start doing roll calls in the morning after the the charts and whatnot. So roll call, if you would, just say good morning in the chat. We'll give shout outs. Shout outs to Indo. What's up, brother? I salute
always
you.
Good seeing you, sir.
What's up, JV? I salute you. Good morning, brother. And Indo is saying, he's like, it's interesting to see all the peeps that aren't even talking crypto like they did a couple months ago. It goes to show you who the real OGs are. And like, that's the funny thing with these roll calls. If you're active in this chat, we give you shout outs and whatnot, you have something to point back to. You can be like, look, you plebs, go back to DCTV, check out the streams on bear market days. You're gonna see consistently in the mornings they're giving us shout outs. We them boys, we them ladies, we've been out here.
How are you, Angel?
What's up? So anyways, shall we get into the news? I'm just gonna hit it. Say I won't.
Let's go.
Say I won't.
Do it.
We're just gonna do the big story because people ain't even getting out of bed, so I don't care. FTX Bankman-Fried could conceivably have bail revoked, says judge. Womp womp womp. Are you surprised to hear that headline? By the way,
no, not at all. Come on, it's they even showed off the new laptop he had on his flight from the court date to his house. It was amazing. What was it, an Acer or something? It was.
He always uses the Acer Predators because they're spec'd out heavy.
Oh yeah,
which is funny because Acer is kind of a turd company historically, but they dumped this like amazing gaming laptop. So if you want specs, they have specs. High five. They have I think they have desktop CPUs in them. I think that's why they're powerful.
Got it.
Alienware has a model that does the same thing. But anyways, I have
a feeling
we're reading the news.
Yes. And I believe he's the one feeding Uncle Gensler what to say and what to attack next.
Yeah.
eh, so not
I
your
mean, if you
keys,
want
not
invited to his pool parties, you have to tip him off.
yeah, absolutely. So yeah, and now seeing him do this, and of course they lifted the ban on or the cover, or there's a term where they squelched who bailed him out. Turns out there were two Stanford, where his parents work at. Um, I think a previous dean and someone else to get SBF out. Doesn't mean they're terrible individuals, but they did put their own a credit or financials on the line to ensure or guarantee that SBF would not disappear.
What a
So
fella.
yeah, I mean, if you think about it, it's well organized. What's happening here? Thankfully, they're keeping the pressure on SBF in terms of using the internet, because everyone else, I mean, Wolf of Wall Street, when he did the shenanigans, he was banned from the internet, and yet this guy has full access still. So we'll see what happens next. October is going to be interesting, that's for sure.
Agreed. Yeah. So let's read this. A federal judge said there was probable cause to believe SBF engaged in activities that could land him in jail until his trial in October, where the price of KY jelly will go up. Um, So get your KY jelly stocks, not investment advice. Sam Bankman-Fried could conceivably have his bail revoked after a federal judge said there was probable cause to believe the former FTX CEO may have engaged in attempted witness tampering. Oh, really? He tampered with witnesses? You believe that? Yes. Probably talked to them on League of Legends chat. He's like, I'm going jungle, but also, can you tell Gensler this? During a February 16th hearing on SBF's bail conditions, Judge Lewis Kaplan said there was probable cause to believe that he, SBF, was or has committed or attempted to commit a federal felony while on release, namely witness tampering, according to multiple reports. Oh, I'm going to read those reports. Kaplan suggested that this could conceivably see the FTX founder back to jail, until his trial in October. And if he did go back to jail, he'd just sit on his Acer laptop and just play League of Legends more. Um,
I
and
don't think
talk.
they allow laptops actually.
I don't know, man. I've seen some prisons that do. But I guess this would be jail, not prison. So I think you have more privileges in
Yeah.
jail versus prison.
Okay, yes, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, they allow more privileges in prison, or in jail versus prison. So why am I being asked to turn him loose in this garden of electronic devices? That that why am I being asked to turn him loose in this garden of electronic devices? And you're wondering, like, could he possibly be doing witness tampering? I don't know. He has the world to his fingertips. What do you think happens? Like, he's
He's got
smart
to
enough
move his
using
crypto around.
messaging.
He's got to move his crypto around using VPN.
Yeah, you got to trade with the honeys.
That's right.
So, law professor Richard Painter, it's a colorful name, echoed the sentiment in February 17th tweet, suggesting that the witness tampering might not be a good idea given his current circumstances. Hey, crypto bro, witness tampering while out on bail is a great way to go right back to jail.
Yeah, makes you wonder.
Hey, crypto bro. That's funny. So on February 15th, prosecutors asked Judge Kaplan to further restrict SBF's device usage to a single monitored computer and cell phone. I mean, how are you? Okay.
How do you enforce that?
I mean, I guess you have to make sure it never dies, and you always have network connection, maybe, and then just always have a camera on so they can watch you poopy. I don't know.
Just walk over to mom's laptop and use hers to do the transaction he needs.
Look, I'm not arguing with you that it's not possible and plausible. What I'm saying is I think that's what they do. but and they probably have some monitoring. But I mean, I've also had proctored exams that, you know, didn't really feel like they were watching me. I didn't cheat or anything, of course, because I'm a man of integrity, but not everyone is.
No doubt.
So prosecutors point to SBF's recent device usage as cause for concern, seeking to further restrict and monitor his usage with limited exceptions. Oh, limited exceptions. Right.
League of
Uh,
Legends.
yeah, that's right. He's gonna go Ari mid. Surprise. During the hearing, Judge Kaplan suggested that it was naive to believe that these restrictions would stop him from using the internet, given that SBF is living with his two parents who both have laptops and cell phones.
Huh.
Really? Yeah, he could literally like write something on like a whiteboard or, you know,
Yeah.
and just lift it up and show. You've seen those those TV shows where people have a
They
wire
point.
on them and they just like write like, I have a wire on me, and they just lift it up to the
Yeah.
to the people. They're like, don't fucking say anything. Stop talking. I imagine he's doing that type of thing.
Yeah.
So
There's ways around all this stuff.
yeah. But prosecutor Nicholas Ruse seemingly agreed, suggesting there may not be a great solution, which prompted Kaplan to imply that revoking SBF's bail could eliminate these risks, noting, there's a solution, but it's not one anybody has proposed yet. It's true. They could give him the cucumber phone. Like, look, you're not getting away from this phone, buddy.
He'd be on there
This
like
is
a
a
bunny.
suppository cell phone.
That's right. Wash it. Use the other end.
Yikes. That's shameful. We apologize for that. Bankman-Fried's lawyers, however, argued that they need him to be able to work on his defense, claiming, we cannot go through these extensive financial records without him. That's actually a hilarious cop-out that's legit, but is absolutely going to be exploited.
Yeah.
we need him to work on his legal case. True, but do you think that's the only thing he's doing on that machine? Please.
No.
Kids
I'd wash my hands before I touch it.
I mean, maybe that's half the fun, you know?
Yeah.
I have to get that phone from that flesh pocket. Yeah. Yeah, from his internal pink purse. Yep. So
Damn.
yikes on bikes. So the former FTX CEO has been prohibited from using certain messaging applications since February 9th after he was found to have contacted potential witnesses. Oh yeah? What was he using, do you claim? Do they even say? Let's see.
I don't think so.
They don't say, but I think we all know. We all know. If you know, you know.
There's got to be evidence for them to even publicly say that he did something and tweet, hey, bro, witness tampering is, there's evidence.
Well, my guess is, one, he's an idiot and probably screenshotted it, or two, he just wasn't using disappearing messages or something, so I don't know. Who knows? Who knows what he knows, except for he. So the former FTX CEO has been prohibited from using certain messaging apps since February 9th after he was found to have contacted I'm coughing. Being sick off and on is really just the most annoying thing in my life.
It is.
But I'm not crying. You're crying. He was also temporarily banned from using VPN after prosecutors accused him of using it on 2 occasions, on January 9th and February 12th. Aw. He was probably just trying to get flowers for Caroline. Ba, ba, ba.
That's how he tampered.
Yeah. The VPN ban was not extended at February 16th hearing. Many, both in and out of the crypto community, have expressed disbelief that Bankman-Fried is yet to have his bail revoked under these circumstances. Yes, why? What exactly does... So, I'll read the first one. Judge Kaplan says there is probable cause to believe SBF may have committed a federal felony while on release, namely witness tampering. Well, why am I being asked to turn him loose, he asks. Why, yes. What exactly does SBF have on the prosecution that they that they're not demanding his bail be revoked immediately. Yeah, no kidding. That's a good point.
Yeah.
Or do they think he can take down Binance if he flips? Is he waving at them because none of his mistakes? I'm reading this poorly because none of this makes sense otherwise. Yeah, my
So
guess is this dude's dirty, dirty,
it
dirty.
is, and I am quite sure that he's guiding Uncle Gensler on, hey man, take liquidity from Binance, just like they fucked me with the FTT. Take their liquidity. How do you do it? Well, now you have open case against Paxos, who is the one who mints BUSD. And of course, it lost its peg for a full day and change. Uh, and I'm sure they're like, yes, it's going to dump. It's going to go to
Yeah,
shit. And it didn't. And it's because Binance uses it. Of course, it's Binance branded, but it's fully managed by Paxos. And now that they were forced to, and this was the New York State, I forget the suffix to the organization, but they banned the business between Paxos and Binance. And despite that, the price remains stable. It depegged down to 2 nines or 0.98 at the very bottom of it, but then it's repegged again. It was above peg at 1.004 this morning. So it shows that it's just a lot of pushing. And now you see news coming out that Binance is under regulatory crosshairs, etc. So, oh, this is what's really doing the you see an open attack. And I'm not defending him. It's just the game that's being played because Binance CZ is the one who literally triggered
yeah,
SBF's downfall. He's the one who opened the lid, and then all these scams came to light. So I can see the anger from this guy now trying to take down Uncle CZ, who funded him originally, but didn't support his scamming of the whole system and outright fraud that the uh, the old Enron CEO, who's now leading the FTX effort, is opening. He opened the lead. He's like, God damn, this is a fucking like
yeah,
it's worse than Enron.
yeah. He opens up. He's like, "What are those?"
He was like, what the fuck is this? Where's the money? And then after they go bankrupt, you see all these funds moving out, moving away to irrecoverable. It seems they left the FTX.US alone because, of course, you don't want to swat the hornet's
Ugh.
nest. You're under U.S. jurisdiction,
Yeah,
but
right.
they
How many
completely
cucumbers do you
cleaned up.
think we can fit inside your mouth? You know?
Yes, but they completely emptied FTX.com, which was the international one. So, yeah.
Yeah.
And then you start seeing, and I don't want to diverge, but please notice what's happening, guys, in terms of so you see this happening, and they're trying to clamp down on the industry itself. It's sad that they're doing it because it's everybody else outside the US are investing heavily into this industry because
Yep.
it is a revolution, an engineering revolution of truth, distributed ownership, sovereignty over your data. Like there's so many things coming out of this industry that uh, pushes governments to one side. It pushes corporate ownership or overlords over data, where they can pretty much control the plebs because they control the data. So crypto, Bitcoin itself as a foundation is removing the middlemen, removing the owners of the data, and distributing this so every person that has data is sovereign over their own data, not
Yep.
owned by somebody else. And then you start seeing, yeah, it's just open your eyes, people. Please open your eyes to what's happening because it's you can see. Oh, and the other pressure I not mentioned in this article with the BUSD is BlackRock has a competing stable coin, which is USDC, which is owned by Circle or launched by Circle, which
It's
is
actually in my opinion, it's actually the best stable coin on the market. There's too much fishy with USDT. I don't think it's gonna like get rug pulled or anything. I was
Mhm,
concerned about that for a while, but
mhm,
if you look into the whole debacle between like the company who owns Bitfinex also made USDT,
mhm.
and they're speculated to have used unpegged one-to-one dollars. So basically, they had more USDT than they actually had dollars to back it to cause that rally in 2017. So they were under heavy investigation for that, and I don't know if someone got paid to look the other way because I don't think that resolved. Do you remember if
So
that ever resolved?
with the New York general attorney,
Yeah,
uh, it was they paid a fine, but they're being watched.
they got
So
caught. They paid a fine. They got away with it. Is what that means then. Yeah. They
yes,
probably
and
oh yeah, and they paid the fine with money from hyperinflated USDT. That was
correct.
so
It's like here's the
they
extra,
used
guys.
monopoly money to pay their fine for making monopoly money. It's like okay,
But is the government doing any different,
I mean
Brandon?
who's the
We're printing
government?
money like crazy.
All
And
I'm saying is if you take an oath to the Constitution and you literally make things that are in direct violation of the Constitution, are you the government? That's my question. I think that's
yeah.
actually a hijacking of oaths you took. But what do I know? You libertarians, you. Um, real quick,
Oh,
I wanted to do roll call because we got people being showing up, saying what's up in the morning. So roll call here. So JV, good morning. We salute you. Ava
Ava,
Angel, we
Angel.
salute you. Also, if you could tell us, should we pronounce that Ava or Ava Angel? Just let us
So
know.
I said Ava, you
I don't
said
want to. I
Ava.
don't want to. I
We
don't want to
covered
call you the
both.
wrong thing. I
So
respect you.
we
You
covered
understand?
both.
Yeah. Endo, good morning with your prison pocket. Uh, Gundy, yo, what's up? Good
Gunday
morning, brother. Yeah. It is an F and A
and
Friday
just in
coordination.
time. Just in time. Good seeing you, my
Yeah,
man.
just in time. Uncle G. Yeah, we call him Daddy Bitcoin Daddy Gensler.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah. And then
But
morning.
crypto, yeah, Indo crypto just said so there's low key sabotages going on. I'm telling you, that's like so many so much money is going to Ukraine, and yet they're declining the Palestine, Ohio,
Right.
declaring a national disaster, and they're like, there's all these fires going on, like
Yeah, it's
massive
safe.
fires,
Just go back home. It's cool.
bro.
Just make sure you go outside and breathe deeply. That'll help us out. Yeah.
Yeah, yep.
Should be
And
good. Yeah.
Gundy, you're calling it correctly. SEC trying to propose rules regarding the need for financial advisors. Please look at the thing, putting middlemen between you and your money to use
Yep.
qualified custodians to control customer assets. So you know who's behind all of this and what the intent is. And if they can't regulate, well, they're going to do it through fines and uh, legal. Just
Yep.
beat the shit out of the industry. So just keep your eyes open, stay chill, everyone.
Yeah.
And
When we say stay calm and huddle on, that's not just a trope. We're like actually recommending people don't get manipulated by news cycles. like
correct.
that's not just a cute phrase that we have that would go on a coffee mug, you know.
Yeah, and please note there's pictures and everything of and reports of Uncle G or Uncle Gensler meeting with
Daddy
SBF in the
Gensler.
past. Yeah. And so many politicians into it. And then his donations going to the entire organization that supports him. And it's like so much. And yet you don't hear about it right now. Thankfully, he still has the gumption to use VPNs and still try to tamper with evidence. But who knows if they're going to even push that? So, yeah.
Boston.
Boston, good
Morning. We
morning,
salute
sir.
you. What's up, everybody? What's up? Yeah, this is not financial advice, but get funds you care about off the exchanges before you can.
Agreed. Gandhi,
That
good advice, no matter
we're
who it
not
is.
we're not playing around. Like literally when we throw this up, like Dirty Shovel Gang, you need a crypto wallet, ledger link in our description. Use it for real. Like
Yes.
if you don't have a ledger that you're storing your hardware on, or I'm sorry, your crypto on, um, it's really easy for you to mismanage your funds. And so I don't want that to happen to anybody who's here on this channel. Our whole goal is obviously to keep people up to speed with all the things changing in the space over time, and do so in a way that's entertaining and is community focused. But our other goal is just to make sure that you don't get played in this space too. We really want to make sure that you benefit from a truly decentralized revolution, which Bitcoin is, and actually lock your family's well-being into your own hands, because only you care about you more than you.
Precisely. And if you have children, even more reason to do this. Just understand the industry before you get into it, understand what it means to you and your children, and then do what you need to do to engage.
What I
And we're
said
here
did
to
not
help.
make sense, and I want to clarify my statement. No one cares about you more than you care about you, is what I meant to say. And I'm sick and tired and said something stupid. So yeah, my apologies. Anyways, kids these days don't get goxed, And
Yes.
granted, some people got their gox monies back, but not everyone. And it's
No,
not promised. And it was a long time, and the amount of opportunity cost people lost is just asinine. Like, even if
precisely.
you got all your funds back from that time, how many bull markets did you miss? Was that like 3 major bull markets since then?
Yeah. At least they huddled it for you. You couldn't sell it.
Yeah, I mean,
but
at least. Yeah,
but I don't think they got their full amount, right? It was like sets on the
No, they got a little bit. Even if they got the whole amount, you'd still miss out on all that opportunity for 3 bull cycles. You're like, all right, that's enough of that. Anyways, back to the news. We got a spicy story about Binance, huh? Little Binance situation. So, yeah. So this view sucks. I apologize. That's better. Binance transferred $400 million from U.S. partner to Zhao run firm.
Zhao is CZ, by the way.
Right. Yep. Shenzhen Zhao. Router says. So they moved around 400 milli.
Yep.
So
yeah.
Okay. Let's read it first. Jaime's he's all opinionated about this because we're paying attention to this and it's affecting some other stuff we're doing. But to read the news, Binance secretly had access to a bank account of its U.S. based partner and transferred more than $400 million from that account to a trading firm managed by Chief Executive Officer CZ. Routers reported. The transfer happened over the first 3 months of 2021, with moving money from Binance US account to Silvergate Banking to trading firm Merit Peak Limited, Routers said, citing banking records and company messages. The transfer started in late 2020, the reporter said. Reuters said, is it Routers or Reuters?
Reuters. It's a French company.
Reuters. I'm going to just say it in French now. Reuters. That was more German. Said it couldn't determine whether the transfer funds belong to U.S. customers or the reasons the funds were moved. Or the reason, I'm assuming that was meant to be reason, not reasons, or the reasons.
Correct. Yeah.
I found your typo block. Executive at the U.S. firm were reportedly concerned about the moves because they didn't know they were taking place. Reuters said a Binance spokesperson didn't immediately respond to calls and email from the block seeking comment. Oh, why not? In a statement to Reuters, Binance.us spokesperson Kimberly Soward said the outlet was reporting outdated information. Oh, really? But didn't address questions about the transfers. Oh, that's too bad. Sorry for guys. I got distracted. Parent company Binance did not respond to Reuters, nor did Zhao or Prime Trust, a custodian firm that was also listed as holding customers for the U.S. exchange. Silvergate told Reuters it doesn't comment on individual customers. Wow.
So this was 2021, and then there was a huge push after the FTX collapse of move all your assets out of. So November and December were months of move all your assets out of exchanges, And then January is traditionally not your keys, not your crypto, which also encourages people to remove their assets from exchanges. So there was a huge outflow of capital from CEXs or centralized exchanges, both US and also internationally. So it's just interesting the timing of the news itself. Of course, we need to understand, okay, why were the 400 million moved for full transparency's sake?
It's probably a good
Um,
idea.
yeah, and the fact that the US side was not aware it was happening, the team, the internal team, was not aware.
Yeah.
It's good to know, like trust but verify. So I trust, but we want to verify also. Okay, what the hell happened here? So it'll come to light ultimately. But Gundy's advice of keeping things off the exchange is good advice, because whenever there's a middleman, and exchanges are middlemen
Yep.
uh, in the end, as long as there's a middleman, there's risk. There's a higher risk than if it's in your hands and no one else can access it.
Yeah, and granted, like there's a few risks I think people need to be sober minded about in crypto. Um, the first is obviously custody. Like if you don't have custody over your coins, then I mean, there's no help desk to go to. You understand? Like if someone mismanages your funds, like
Yep.
you get to refer to chapter 8, page 3 and cry about it. You know, like there's no solution for you other than don't get played again, homie. And so
Yep.
one is the custody issue, but two, there's also this issue of liquidity.
Mhm.
And sometimes like this happened to me. I don't trade on Poloniex anymore, but early when I was into crypto, I was trading on Poloniex because it looked great. I love
Mhm.
the user interface was awesome. And the thing with the exchange Poloniex is they had this period of time where you could not withdraw your money. Like, and it
Yes.
sucked. It really it freaking sucked because I was trying to actually take profits, and I had started mining and was doing all that, and I could not. I couldn't take my money ACH. I couldn't move my money crypto to some
Mhm.
other place where I could ACH it. Like there was no way for me to realize profits anyway. And so like that sucks, dude. That's not a good solution. If you have money that you can't spend, is it like, like
Yeah.
how valuable is it? That's literally one of the like value propositions of money. And so
Yeah.
there's a third thing though that I think people don't pay attention to, and it's like the platform that you're holding keys on could also fall apart. And people who are
Yes.
like my heart bleeds for the Terra Luna, people, because I agree the
Yeah.
fundamentals look good on that one.
Oh
Like
yeah.
people were not stupid to be investing in it, but like it was a risk they took, and unfortunately that was a risk that burned people. And
Yeah.
like that can happen to any cryptocurrency. I think it's least likely to happen on Bitcoin because Bitcoin has the highest legitimate proof of work hash rate. Bitcoin has the longest track history. It's truly the most decentralized network on the planet. So I
Mhm.
think for those reasons, if you're going to be concerned about the platform you're invested in crumbling, uh, I would say Bitcoin's probably the safe harbor. And I know when you first get into crypto, you're looking at these charts and you're like, yeah, well, like these other ones had 20-30% gains. Like, yeah, they also have 20-30% losses out of nowhere too.
Yes.
And the other thing is like people who are whales are shrewd. They know more than you. They have bots and AI and like
Mhm.
tools you don't have. And they've tuned these tools and they're really good at it. And so I want you to keep that in mind. Like, yeah, I know Bitcoin doesn't always look as sexy as the other ones, but like if you back test some of the plays you would have made, um, a lot of people end up way further ahead with Bitcoin. Plus the fact that it's more stable and secure and has a longer track history. Like, there's so many reasons it makes Bitcoin a unique case apart from the rest of the Web3 crypto space. And that's why Bitcoin's a protocol. It's not
Mhm.
just like an experiment like the rest of the things, it's protocol.
Yep.
And other things are built on it. And other things take its technology and they experiment with it. But it's the prototype. You must understand that like
It's
it
still an
has,
experiment. It's still in development.
but Bitcoin itself is unique from its peers. So
Yes.
I'll get off my soapbox, but I really want you to hear that.
And the last item that you haven't mentioned yet of the list that you were
Yeah,
in of risk is that when an exchange that
mhm,
has your crypto in it goes bankrupt, the
yeah,
courts will issue your assets to the institution. Like I don't know if it was Celsius or Genesis, it
yeah,
assigned it. It's like now you even lost rights to that. Like you're put at the back of the line. They're going to pay out all their creditors and everything, and whatever
yeah.
peanuts are left that you gave them is now given back to you. It's a kick in the nuts. Instead of protecting
Yeah.
the customer, they're protecting the institution. Is
But
the
and
backwards
I'm glad you even brought that up too, because that reminded me. Bitcoin's also not considered a security; it's really a commodity, and so
commodity? Yes.
so that like it's treated like corn, like Bitcoin. It's a commodity. There's no CEO of Bitcoin. It wasn't used to do fundraising for anything. There's no middleman broker trying to sell it to promote something. So it's treated in the same way that any like hard asset would be treated. So
Mhm.
from a legal perspective, it really is in a unique position. And yeah, Justin Time said, if you had two ledger wallets, would you have one with only BTC and the other stored your alts? I've traveled a lot and bring my ledger with me, and I felt it's smart to be buying another. um, I don't think that's a bad idea.
Yep.
The thing is
So
like, what are you using it for, right?
yeah,
Like
and
like what? Go ahead, Jaime.
so what I like about Justin Time's comment, and I agree with, is if you have a single wallet for all your assets, you're at risk. They find your keywords, they will get all your assets. Versus if you have two separate ones, like the way you just mentioned, just in time, if they get one of your wallets, they only get the assets in that. So they'll either get your alts or they'll get
Yeah,
your Bitcoin. So and you don't necessarily need to buy another physical one. If you buy
right.
the physical one, it's out of convenience. So you don't have to
Enter
reconstitute
your,
it
yeah,
to do a transaction. Now you
right,
just have it as convenience, as long as you leave one home. But if you're taking both while you travel, why'd you separate it then? Because they're going to take both of your.
right. And to explain, like the actual physical hardware of like a ledger,
Mhm.
it is a hardware security device. It has encryption on it, right? And like a physical hardware level. And what it's doing is it uses a random number and then cryptography to take your seed phrase plus that random number that's stored in another part of the chip. It puts that through an algorithm and then just stores like encrypted, hash information. It has devices that can decrypt it upon connection, but uh, all that happens on the chip. None of it happens in software outside of the ledger. So the idea here is that you generate, your seed phrase, which is just a cryptographic representation of like a long hash code.
Mhm.
But it's easier for people to remember because like remembering 12 words or 24 words that actually represent a string of numbers each, that's easier for our brains to do rather than just being like WLK5OP, just random characters. And so the idea here is that you can have a seed phrase. You can have multiple seed phrases, and you can use any ledger to import those seed phrases and then be able to unlock those accounts. So if you're not spending, if you're like really trying to cold storage it, you can just store the seed phrase in a waterproof, fire safe or something,
Yep.
and in a secure location. And that will be sufficient because you can always grab another ledger and throw those seed phrases in. But if you are actually using them, they're both occasionally connected and used to interact, then yeah, I'd say have two. And I mean, I do development, so for me, I
Mhm.
always have two anyways. I have one that's not even, doesn't even have seed phrases or anything on it. It's literally just a
Mhm.
backup in case my hardware gets screwed up somehow. So
Yep.
It's if you're going to be in crypto for the long run, just have a few extras just in case. Anyways,
Yeah.
they're not that expensive.
I myself, in full transparency, also have multiple hardware wallets. So, uh, and I see you bought it for mom. Perfect. See, that's a good son, Brand Data Lord.
Wow,
Yeah.
look at you.
So yes,
We love your
ultimately,
mama.
that's right. You take care of your family. So it is at a convenience. So if you do have to, you don't have to reconstitute. You just go
Yep.
do the transaction and then disconnect. That's one of the advantages of doing it. But you could survive. Let's say you don't have the budget. This is for anyone else. If you don't have the budget, you can use the same wallet. Just write down your phrase and keep it somewhere safe, not visible. Please, for the love of God, do not store your phrase in an Excel file or a text file or anything online. If you can, keep it on paper or offline or on a device that never touches the internet. In
Yep.
that sense, so you can reconstitute and you can have multiple at that point. So, just stay calm and huddle on. Our pleasure to serve you, Justin.
Yeah. Thanks for the question. Honestly, that helps the general community anyways when you ask questions like that. So please, if anyone has curiosity, like if you have like true technical questions, ask. We really do
Yes.
want to explore these ideas together because the more educated we all are, the more we all win. But
Yeah.
our last story for the day is another spicy one, and that's why I say spicy time in the headline here. So let me show you. That's pretty spicy. Do Kwon, founder of collapsed Terra stablecoin, charged with fraud. Oof, by the U.S. security regulators. Fraud? What do you mean?
Yeah.
What you mean? What you mean? So, I'm coughing, and that's annoying. My gift to you. So, the U.S. Security Exchange Commission, the SEC, charged Singapore-based Terraform Labs and its chief Do Kwon Huang with defrauding investors through a multi-billion-dollar crypto asset security fraud. According to a complaint filed in the Southern District of New York. I don't like fast facts, like reading. Oh my goodness, that's all the story is, you asshole. All right. So, we allege that Terraform and Do Kwon failed to provide the public with full, fair, and truthful disclosure as required for a host of crypto asset securities. Most notably for Luna and Terra USD, said SEC Chair Daddy Gary Gensler in the agency's announcement of the filing. We also allege that they committed fraud by repeating false and misleading statements to build trust before causing devastating losses for investors. Yeah. We also allege that they committed fraud by repeating false and misleading statements. I think that happened to build trust before causing devastating losses for investors. Ouch. Indo says Elon Musk's seed phrase is stored on the Roadster in space. Is that true, or is that just a meme you wrote? Do tell. The SEC claims Do Kwon and Terraform raised billions through an unauthorized offering and selling of crypto asset securities, including the Terra USD algorithm stablecoin M assets, which are tokens that mirror the price of US-based stocks. The agency further alleges Terraform and Do Kwon deceived investors by saying that a popular mobile payment application in South Korea used Terra blockchain in order to add value to the Luna cryptocurrency. As alleged in our complaint, the Terraform ecosystem was neither decentralized nor finance. It was simply a fraud propped up by a so-called algorithmic stablecoin. Interesting.
Yeah, so you can see.
The price of which was controlled by a defendant, not code.
Everyone, I do have to drop out myself, so I have to abandon you, Data Lord. I'll see you shortly.
Happy Friday. Yeah. Well, Terraform Labs chief, typically known as Do Kwon, is known to be residing in Serbia last week. Seoul prosecutors told Forecast the Serbian authorities have agreed to actively cooperate with investigations and expatriation of Quan. Terraform Labs crypto project, once valued at $40 billion, collapsed in May of last year following the depeg of Terra stablecoin, and the value of its sister Luna cryptocurrency plunged to zero around US $120. So I think you just made it up. So why is this story interesting? Well, few things in this story. One, we have to be very careful with trusting but verifying, right? Unfortunately, a lot of this wasn't very transparent, and a lot of people had good reason to think that Luna was decentralized. That's kind of how it was presented, but in research, it looks like people were actually plugging hard numbers into the code, which isn't code as law. That's someone had the ability to override that. So that's the type of play we have to be careful of not getting played by ourselves, and that's why Bitcoin is unique in this space. The amount of effort it would take to actually betray Bitcoin with over 51% of the hash rate is significant, and I do in the near future want to have a show where we just talk about specifically quantum, because a lot of people are wondering, like, hey, is quantum computing going to be able to break like cryptography? And that's a completely reasonable concern, right? But we can also use cryptography tied together with quantum, so we can have quantum be a element inside of our cryptography to actually strengthen Bitcoin against quantum attacks. So I'll get all the details around that, and we'll talk hard facts about it. And also, if anyone knows a quantum programmer, someone who knows like Q Sharp or something, let us know, and we'd love to get connected and have a informed like quantum code conversation. So anyways, it is DCA Friday, so please do yourself a favor if you haven't already. DCA, even if you're not trying to lock in Bitcoin at this exact price, at least DCA into some sort of a stable coin or something, and get ready to be able to grab those Bitcoin prices. Jaime is going to be doing those price action YouTube shorts and keeping everyone up to speed. It's not financial advice, but we have reasons within our charts to believe that we just got rejected on that 25. So Bitcoin got rejected at 25. It could pump just because people are spicy that way, but I'm feeling like we're going low, and I'd like to scoop some low Bitcoin. You know what I mean? So thank you everyone for joining us on DCTV, Crypto and Coffee, where we talk about coffee and drink about crypto. It's a joke. Calm down. Have a good weekend. Keep calm, hodl on. Later, love you. Bye. Later, love you. Bye. Later, love you.